Hey there folks, how's it going today? So what are we doing? Today you and I are going to take a look at how you can power level, how you can level up your second character in Diablo 3 really fast by yourself. That's right, solo leveling right here. We're going to break down all the tips, all the best things that you need to do in order to maximize your leveling if you're going to do it by yourself. And we're getting started right now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Nemo. Welcome to another Diablo video. So what are we doing today? I'm going to show you how you can level solo. What are the best things that you need to do in order to maximize your way into level 70 so you can do what you want to do, which is rifts and greater rifts and so on. So now I made a guide before. I did make a guide before on how to power level if you have a friend. The fastest way you can get to level 70 with a friend, which is like a matter of like 15 minutes. I will link that video up top. But if you don't have somebody to play with, like nobody else that plays this game, and you needed to do this by yourself, if you wanted to level solo by yourself, these tips right here are going to give you the best chance you have to the fastest possible way to do it. We're going to break them down by steps, and I'm going to give you all of them. Before we get started, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, come on down to my Twitter, my Discord. A lot of exciting stuff going on there. You definitely don't want to miss out. So there are 5 steps to this. One thing I want to give a big shout out to Hewan. Hewan is a good friend of mine, a clanmate, and somebody who plays Diablo right here. He actually helped me make the first guide that I linked at the end of this video. You should definitely check that one out. He's a cool guy. He's actually a streamer on Twitch, and I want to give him a shout out. Definitely check him out. He'll be up top and of course in the description of this video. So definitely go give him a shout out because he put this guide together for you. Really, I'm just kind of making sure that I bring it to everybody because this is a really helpful thing that I think a lot of people will like. So let's get started with the first step. Alright, so step number 1 is when you are starting this game, you just started, you got your second character going, everything is set, you're gonna start it in challenge rift mode. That's right. The idea is what you want to do. The first thing you want to do before you even start playing the game, you want to beat a challenge rift. That's right. We're gonna go in here. As you notice right here is a challenge rift. We're gonna hit that and take a look. There's a different one every so often. They change them up. There are max characters that you can play. What's a challenge rift? It's just basically a way to try to get yourself up on the leaderboard. Whoever can do it the fastest with a specific build. Everybody starts with the same build, so you could just go in and do this. If you beat a challenge rift, and you start the game right here and do your thing. If you beat the challenge rift, it gives you a lots of different resources. It gives you a lot of stuff, gold, a lot of different other resources that you're gonna need, shards and so on, that are gonna set you up once you jump into the game. So the first thing you want to do, and I know it maybe is not very easy to beat a challenge rift. They're not very difficult. You can do it. Maybe it's not the first try, but you obviously have to understand what the build is and learn. Like for example, in this case, we have the Crusader, right? So you have to play with the Crusader and know kind of how it works in order to do this. But you jump in, right, and you play this challenge rift. Okay, if you beat the challenge rift, it gives you a whole bunch of resources. These resources are you going to use when you jump into the village for the first time in adventure mode. That's right. We're not going to play the regular story mode. We're going to go into adventure mode, which is step 2. I'll show you that. You're going to need these resources. So you're going to make sure that you beat a challenge rift. If you're having issues beating a challenge rift, maybe you can look up a YouTube guide on how to do it for that specific for this specific challenge rift right here. But definitely want to make sure the first step is to beat the challenge rift. Now let's move to the second step. Alright, so we did that, we beat the challenge rift, and we started the game in adventure mode. Remember, you're going to start the game once you beat the challenge rift in adventure mode. And here we are. What we're going to do is we are going to walk over to our blacksmith, right? One of the artisans. We're going to walk over to him, we're going to find him. And when you find the blacksmith, what you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure that you train him up, right? And that's what you're going to need the resources for. You're going to need the resources to train our guy all the way up, and of course you're gonna do all that. You're gonna train him all the way up. Then you're gonna come and make sure that you come to forge weapons. You're gonna come to forge weapons, and you're gonna scroll down and take a look for. You're looking for a two-handed weapon, any kind of two-handed weapon you like that is for your class, whatever you like. And make sure that you can forge that. When you do, let's say, let's take a look at the. Let's say for maybe an axe. That'll work. We could do an axe. That's a legendary, huh? It doesn't have to be. So any kind of high level 70 weapon, right? So you're gonna do that. You're gonna take that and you're gonna craft it. If you notice right over here, this is where you need the material for that specific weapon. Now, what am I doing with this? When you're gonna craft this level 70 weapon, you aren't gonna be able to specifically use it because you're gonna need to be a level 70. But I am going somewhere with this. That's right. Step 2 and 3 will explain that. Just hang in there with me. So what you're gonna do is once you beat the challenge rift, you have all of these resources, these specific resources that you need. You're gonna take those resources and spend them very wisely. You're gonna come over and max level, so train up your blacksmith, right? You're gonna train them up because you're gonna want to make sure that you're able to forge a level 70 two-handed weapon. That's what you're gonna need, a level 70 two-handed weapon, any one of these. So you take this right here, you use the resources that you got from the challenge rift and etc., and you are going to craft it. Okay, you're gonna craft this weapon, that level 70 weapon. That is step 2. Once you craft the level 70 weapon, we're moving on to step 3. Alright, so we're done with armory for now. That's right, we are done with the set, but we're gonna come back to this actually. Let's take our two-handed weapon that we have and we're gonna walk it over to our mystic. This is our enchantress, so to speak, right? And you gotta obviously make sure that this is another artisan. I'm sure you know who she is. And basically you have to make sure that you try and level her up all the way if possible, right? So you get her up all the way, and then now at this point in time, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your two-handed weapon. You're gonna take it from your inventory. Obviously this is a legendary one, but if you're not gonna get this weapon, it's gonna be just a regular two-handed weapon. You're gonna drop it in here, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one of the stats if it has any, right, and just basically re-roll it. And why do you want to re-roll this stat? You're gonna pay for all of the required materials you have, right? And the idea, and you're gonna get those materials of course from the challenge rift, from doing one or two of those. And what is the idea? You want to make sure that you re-roll for a specific role. There is something called a 30 level reduction. That's right, a 30 level weapon reduction. So what it's going to do is if you roll this thing, and that's what you want to do, you want to be able to roll something, you want to be able to roll this specific thing that's going to allow you to use the level 70 weapon at level 40. This is a 30 level reduction, and it's going to come right over here. As you notice, you're going to select one of the ones that you want to get rid of, okay, and then make sure that you select property to replace, and then hit this button right here for the task. For the amount of resources that you have right here, it's going to re-roll this, and you're looking for that 30 level reduction. That is key here because it's going to allow you to use the level 70 weapon at level 40. Now this is something that you're going to be setting yourself up for mid-game. There's a lot of different steps to this, right? But you're doing all this to set yourself up for the game so you can really like rocket level yourself all the way up to a level 70 because you're doing this by yourself, right? So that is, once you do that, once you have that set, now you have that level 70 weapon that you can use at level 40. Now we're going to move on to the next step. Oh, and before we move on, actually, there's another cool little trick for you. If you have a specific weapon that you like, something that you really like to use and you don't want to get rid of, right? Because a lot of the times as you're playing the game, you're going to be getting a lot of gear, so you can just hit select all and salvage the gear. You're going to do that back at the armory or at the blacksmith, right? So a lot of times you're going to get a whole bunch of gear that you don't need. You're just going to want to salvage it all. Well, if you hit the select all and salvage, it's a lot faster than doing it by one and dropping each piece of gear into the thing and then hitting the salvage and blah blah blah. It takes a lot of time. So you like to do select all. Well, what you can do is if you can take any of the gear that you like, for example, take this piece of gear that I like right here, right? This is one of my gears, and you go to transmography and grab it and throw it over here. You can take a piece of gear and change the way it looks. If you do that, if you transmog a piece of gear, when you hit select all and salvage, it will never get rid of that piece of gear. So if you want to make sure that you keep the gear that you like and just hit select all and get rid of everything else, you could just transmog it here to a different look, which is, by the way, kind of cool because you could take you could take your gear and make it look totally different. So I could take this guy right here, right, and make it look like this, or anything else. It's really kind of cool, so you want to check that out. That's a little small tip for you, but let's move on to the next task. All right, so now that we have all that, okay, we have everything that we need. Well, not everything. So what we also want to do, what you can do to set yourself up before you go out there into the wilderness and start fighting demons, you want to make sure that you're gonna come over to your Templar. There's a guy, okay, in every one you'll find him as somewhere on the map. That is your follower, a Templar, someone that you can bring with you. Well, when you first start playing the game, you don't have anything. You got your little weapons, but they're super low level. What you can do is you're gonna come over to your Templar, click in here, and then hit inventory and skills, and then he'll have two weapons. He'll have a spear, and he'll have a sword, a shield. Right, so you can take that from him. As you notice, I can just grab that and bring it over to my inventory, and now it's mine. I could take that in the same sense. I could give it back to him, or give him, your follower, better weapons. But the idea is, when you first start off, his weapons are a lot better than the ones that you have. So you're gonna want to come over here before you start the game, and then grab his weapons to start off. That's gonna last you for however long it is until you find the better weapons out there in the world. But that's gonna get you kind of to start up the game. And before we do that, of course, before we actually start playing the game, so we did all the stuff, we crafted our two-handed weapon, we re-rolled it, right, with all of the stuff that we got from the challenge rift. We re-rolled it, now it's 30 levels or less. So at level 40, we can use this level 70 two-handed weapon. That's going to significantly increase our chance of just doing a lot better, and then smoothly just running our way up the ladder to level 70. But of course, we got the weapons now we can use for this for a while, and then we want to walk back over to the armory, right, to the blacksmith. And what we can do here is we can craft a forge and armor set for us. Now you can go through and take a look. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. I know that there is something called the Kane's Destiny set as well, or something that you can get, I think, that's going to give you much better XP. But really, there's a bunch of different armor. As you can see, there's a show button. You can see from the highest usable to the materials that you have, and then craft yourself a good armor set. There's a bunch of different things, as you can see, that you can get, and if you can craft yourself up, throw that on yourself, it's just going to give you better chance at there, when you go out there slaying the demons and doing all that. That's going to prepare you a little more. And one last thing that you can do, one last thing before you actually start playing the game, is you want to go over to the Kadala, to our merchant over here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look for a helmet. So you're going to want to come over here to armory. You have blood shards. You picked them up from the challenge rift that you did. And what you're looking for, you are looking for a Leoric's crown. It's a helmet. So you're going to want to spam your blood shards. Spam them and try to, right over here, the mystery helmet, spam them and try to get yourself a Leoric's crown. Leoric's crown is a helmet that you can use, and that if you can put a ruby in that helmet, it's going to give you more XP. That's right, more XP for you, which is going to help you level faster. It's just something that I like to do, right? This is something that Hewan actually is the one that gave us all of these tips right here. That's going to really just set you up and prepare you. Where we started with doing the challenge rift, we got ourselves a two-handed weapon. We upgraded and transmogged it to make sure we don't get rid of it. We also re-rolled it to get it to be 30 levels less than what it needs to be used with, so you can use it level 40. We came over, we grabbed ourselves a little set of armor, right? We came on here, we re-rolled the blood shards, we just spammed them down until we found ourselves Leoric's crown. We grabbed a ruby and we put that into the crown to get ourselves some more XP. We walked over to our Templar, which is our follower, and we grabbed his spear and his shield. We have all of that ready. We're doing all of this before we're playing the game, notice. So we have all of that set and ready. We are much better prepared to go out there and do stuff. And what do we do next? Let's move on to the last step of this and see how we can get this done. Now here we are on the last step. Now before we get there, one thing I forgot to mention, what does Leoric's crown do? Well, that actually increases the effectiveness of the gem that you put into it by like 100% or something like that. So it gives you the gem that you put into it, it makes it 100%, 70 to 100% more effective. And what you're going to want to do is put the ruby in there, the red gem, because it gives you more experience. So you're making the gem that gives you more experience almost 100% more effective to give you more experience, and that's what we want to do with the Leoric's crown. That was from before. So now, what's the last step? Of course, once you get all that set and ready to go, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to go and do some rifts. You're gonna start with regular rifts, and then you're gonna, of course, do some greater rifts. And that's you're gonna want to spam those and continue to do those, pick up higher gear, and just level yourself up. The idea here is to make sure that you can do a greater rift 70, and that's what you want to work yourself up to. Yes, before doing any missions or anything else, because you don't need to. This is your second character. Remember, you already did the missions in the first. You could, if you wanted to, continue to do them, but this is the fastest, most efficient way to level. We did all the steps that we talked about before. Now we're gonna sit there and do rifts and greater rifts until we can efficiently and easily do level 70 and greater rifts. When you can do a level 70 and greater rifts, you just want to start farming those. You don't want to increase them to a higher level. What happens at level 70? Why do we want to do level 70? Because at level 70 you have a significantly higher, a much higher chance of getting primals and legendary pieces of gear. A much higher chance, and that's what you want. You want the primal ancients, right? You want the gear with the red around it. That is the best gear, right? And that drops at level 70. Primal ancients, you know, those top of the line best gear that you have, because that's the idea, right? You got to level, you're leveling up. You at this point you probably got to level 70. You're doing a greater lift level 70 by yourself. Now you just want to make sure that you pick up your sets and really gear your character to the way they want. So you want to continue to do those. Now when you are running greater rifts, right, if you're doing level 70, you're farming for gear. When you go higher, there's no need for that unless you're trying to do paragon levels. You're making sure that you're not trying to go up to paragon levels, or you are trying to get on the leaderboards. If you're just trying to pick up gear, you don't want to go to a higher level because it just increases difficulty with no increase to the level drops of the gear. There's no better gear at higher levels, so you're just making it more difficult for yourself. The idea is you want to make sure you're as efficient as possible at greater rift 70, so you can just do them faster and faster and faster, run them to pick up more and more gear to level yourself up and farm the gear that you want. If you want to go up paragon levels and you want to get on leaderboards, that's when you increase your greater rift level. So that is how you do this. That's exactly how you break all of this down and do this. We talked about it from start to finish, right? We talked about doing the challenge rift and then setting yourself up for the beginning of the game and even mid game. So once you get to that level of 40, you can pick up the two-handed weapon. At that level of 72 handed weapon, it's going to be able to rocket ship your way to the level 70 that you need to get to. It's going to be really much easier for you. So you're setting yourself for the beginning and the end. You got the gems, you got the stats, you have it all set and ready to go, and that is the most efficient and fastest way that you can level to level 70 by yourself in Diablo 3. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. Thanks so much to Hewen, is the one to put all this stuff together and brought it to us. Really awesome guy. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. While you're here, check out this video. This is a very cool one. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course come on down to our Twitter and our Discord, and I'll see you there.